Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second week of our class for healthcare accounting. All right, 1 week down and just 5 more to go. All right, I wanted to shoot this quick video to tell you a little bit about what we're doing this week because it's a little bit different than what we're doing in some of the other weeks. So I wanted to kind of walk through how we're going to approach the week. Now, before I do my little walkthrough on the week, I'd like you to get your syllabus out. Grab that syllabus. Hopefully, you printed that out last week when we talked about it. If not, make sure you print that syllabus or go grab it, pause the video, and then come back. All right, well, hopefully you're back and you got your syllabus right in your hands, right? Okay, so let's take a look at it real quickly. I want to draw your attention to something. On page 6, you're going to find the course schedule. This is a nice way to see the flow of the course, the assignments that are due, chapters that you're going to be reading. Now, as I said in the walkthrough video last week, that this course is only going to be 6 weeks long. It's normally an 8-week course. Our normal semesters are 16 weeks. Summer is only 12. All right, so we have less weeks to play with, but we have the same amount of content. This is a 3 credit hour, 300 upper level baccalaureate course. We have to meet that content requirement. So how do we do it? Well, there's no magic. If you got 8 modules of learning, like we do, we have 8 modules of learning, but only 6 weeks, we got to double up. Now, and this is one of the weeks that we're doubling up in week 2. And we're going to be doing this one other time for a total of 2 times in this course where we'll be doubling up. Now, I have changed when we do the modules that are together. I have kind of changed things already before I even launch the course to make it a little bit more manageable. But as I've been talking to some students, we're going to do another change. So here comes a change. So good thing you're watching this video because you're going to catch a change that's going to help you out with this week. Now, whatever changes that we do or whatever content that we have, again, we still have to meet those learning objectives. So I'm trying to really be very editorial, just stripping down to the essentials of what we need in this course. And hopefully we're going to do that this week without pushing you guys over the edge. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we're doing this week. So we're going to be doing both modules 2 and 3. Let's run through module 2. Now, module 2, as you see here, I'm going to skip this progress journal and talk about it in just a moment. But in module 2, you're going to find a learning activity. The learning activity, and you'll find a few of these throughout the course, is going to be a topic essay. 5-paragraph topic essay. You're going to write on that. Students typically like this. Believe it or not, they like it. It's a great way for them to practice the language of accounting. Most students really don't like the math part, or even though accounting obviously numbers, and there's a lot of number phobia out there. They really seem to have overwhelmingly, as I've asked them throughout the past couple of years, like the topic essays. And that's really what I think is important for you as well. Being able to practice that language of accounting because that's what you'll be using as a professional. You necessarily won't be crunching a lot of numbers as a manager. Those numbers will be provided to you. It's important to know how those numbers were derived, but it's even more important to be able to talk intelligently about the numbers, and that's what the topic essays will hopefully help you do. All right, so your learning activity for Module 2 will be a topic essay. Follow the rubric, and you'll do just great. You're also going to have your standard module quiz. Those we'll have every week, okay? That'll cover the content that was in Module 2. Now, what about this progress journal Chris skipped over? We are going to eliminate the progress journal for Module 2. I'll say it again. You are not required to do the progress journal for Module 2. Great, so there's a little bit less off your plate this week. Now you're going to move on to Module 3. Again, both of them have to be done in this week. We will have a progress journal in Module 3. Do that one. Now, what's a progress journal? It's a great way for us to touch base. Usually I give you a couple of prompting questions that you can talk about, really see how you're doing in this class, see how I'm doing. Maybe I'm doing something that doesn't make sense or is not clear. I find lots of information in these progress journals that kind of goes both ways in helping us. It's a great way for us to communicate. As distance education learners, we have this barrier of separation between us. We're not sitting in a classroom together, establishing eye contact. I can't judge body language, so we have to be a little bit more conscious in our communication, and I think and intentional in our communication. And that's what the progress journals do. It's a great way for us to connect and again see how it's working on both ends. So do the progress journal in module 3, but you don't have to do the progress journal in module uh, 2. All right, you have your learning activity. It will not be a topic essay. It will be a little bit of accounting work, if you will. Now let me show you something to be aware of. Now, when you go to the module, it will say, and I'll pull up the module 3 here in the learning activity, and let me scoot this box over so you guys can see the whole thing. So here's the learning activity for module 3. You will be doing some, if you read down here, it says, please address the following problems, not questions, starting on page 112. And I give you the numbers there, 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. Here is the confusing thing about this book. I wish they didn't do it, but at the end of every chapter, they have a set of problems and a set of questions. Flip through and look, you'll see like, oh, there's problems, there'll be like maybe 20 problems, and then all of a sudden you'll see questions, and there'll be 20 questions. Questions tend to be more narrative, more you'll type it, where you'll be doing an answer with words, and the problems tend to be more mathy, if you will, more accounty, if you will. All right, so this week you'll be doing some problems, so make sure you do the right ones. There's always one or two students who do questions. But it's clear right in there. Grab the problems. They start on page 112, and you're going to do problems 3.1, 3.2, and 3.3. Do your best on them. I don't grade on perfect answers. I grade on process. So try to emulate the processes that you're seeing either in the videos or in the textbook. Okay, and you'll be doing just fine with that. So remember the difference between problems and questions can be a little confusing. Do whatever it says for the particular learning activity. Some weeks I'm going to have you do one problem and two questions, or some weeks might be all questions. So just make sure you check it out. All right. So let's get back to to our syllabus here. I think this will provide a nice balance because the learning activity, you'll be doing this essay, 5 paragraphs. Follow the rubric, you'll do just fine. And then you'll do some accounting type stuff, okay? You'll play around with that with the other learning activities. So you won't be doing too heavy essays or too, heavy math problems, 2 sets of heavy math problems or accounting problems. You got a nice balance, I think, between the two this week. And the fact that we removed one of the progress journals for this week will help out greatly as well. Now, what am I doing with the missing points from that progress journal? I'm simply going to double the point value for the progress journal in module 3, but I'm not doubling the amount of content. So kind of a double win for you there. And it's a relatively easy assignment. No APA required. I just want you to talk to me and tell me, kind of how you're doing. I'll give you those prompting questions in there and just make sure you address those or really any other areas that you want to that you think that's a concern. So it's basically a pretty, I'll say, easy grade as long as you do it in good faith. And again, the purpose of it is for us to have a good dialogue and communication. All right, so that's basically it for this week. 3 takeaways. First takeaway, we have 2 modules to do this week. Make sure you do 2. Second big takeaway, I've eliminated one of the progress journals. Do not do the progress journal in module 2. And a third takeaway, not so big but important, is to make sure that when you are doing a learning activity, that you look at what's being asked for, whether it's a problem set or question set or both, and that you're grabbing those right problems or questions out of the back of the chapter that are referred to, and then you'll do just fine. All right, so the big 3 takeaways for this week. I hope everybody has a fantastic week. So far, things have been pretty quiet. Seems like things are going pretty well for you. Grades, I usually get questions about grades. Grades have that's human nature. Everybody usually turns things in on Sunday night, which is okay. That's probably what I would do too. But that just means typically you're going to see your completed grades sometime on Tuesday for the previous modules. So look for grades to be updated for you sometime throughout the business day on Tuesday, very rarely on Wednesday. So we should be up to speed on that. All right, that kind of completes our week in review for the second week. If you have any questions, remember to text me. That's the best way to get a hold of me. You can find my cell phone number in the syllabus. Thanks, everybody, and have a great week.